All right, Steve, welcome. Happy holidays, Merry Christmas. We doing Kwanzaa, we doing Hanukkah, what you doing, man?
Everything, everybody, right? You gotta make sure you get everybody in there, man. Happy holidays, Merry Christmas, Happy Kwanzaa, Happy Hanukkah, all that.
Awesome.
You know what seasons we're on.
Awesome. Good to see you, man. So I wanted to bring you on this today because my wife and I were talking about Christmas gifts, right? And I saw this video where parents, they got the PS5 box, right? And they filled it with a pair of shoes and books and whatnot, but there's no PS5, right? And the kids saw the box and went crazy. But when they opened it up,
it was nothing. Yeah, I saw that one.
Yeah, so I was like, wow. So, what is it about the gifts? Like I thought we here celebrating the birth of Jesus, family, togetherness, we back to just making it about gifts. Now it's 2020, I thought it put things more in perspective about being with family. So I know you and I briefly spoke about it, so I just wanted to expand on it on this platform a little bit, just chop it up. Nothing,
nothing formal. Well,
yeah.
Christmas is completely commercialized in the United States of America. There's no ands or buts about it. I think when you take the concept of Christmas and just, we're just speaking solely for Christmas, because there are many different cultures that celebrate different holidays during this time, which you have the phrase happy holidays. Whenever you hear happy holidays, you only think about one time, which is around this time, because, like I said earlier, a bunch of different cultures, celebrate different things here, religious wise as well. But when we're talking specifically about in giving gifts and everything, that's Christmas, you know what I'm saying? And the concept of Christmas has completely been changed for what it was, you have Christmas, which is the celebration of Christ's birth, which if you look in Christmas, CHRIST, Christ, Mass, MAS, you know what I'm saying? So you're really, it is the celebration of Christ, really, when you look at the word, that's what it is.
Yeah.
And in essence, you have the concept of the giving of gifts, which may have came from the three wise men giving, presenting gifts to Jesus, or may have came from the Catholic Church when they, canonized or made Saint Nicholas a saint, and thus we have where we get Santa Claus from.
We have Kwanzaa as well with the
Kwanzaa as well, to give gifts throughout the days and stuff, too. And I believe the same thing for Hanukkah too. Hanukkah, you get gifts as well. So there is this idea of just different cultures celebrating, the concept of giving gifts. And so in a capitalistic society in which we live in, which is nothing wrong with that at all, but in a capitalistic society in which we live in, you want to capitalize on your products during this time. And so you have a lot more products that are out around the last quarter of the year, which people would want for Christmas, i.e. the PlayStation 5, which I still couldn't get because I was looking for it. And I couldn't get it because everybody named Mama bought one except Steve. But
I'm sorry to say, my wife and I were on that boat too. Samantha's trying to surprise me with a PS5, and she very solemnly told me that it's not going to happen.
Couldn't get it. See, we got caught up. We got caught up in the commercialism of Christmas. No. But I mean, it's weird, right? Because Christmas falls towards the end of the year, and for some, you want to reward certain people for a culmination of a great year, right?
Correct.
You have children, you want to reward them. If you have employees, you want to reward them. If you have just people in your life, you want to reward them. But I think
them for appreciation,
show appreciation and all that. Yeah, give people their flowers, right? Or their PS5s or whatever, or their toys. But I think the problem that we have is that we've made the holidays and specifically I'm speaking about Christmas. We've made Christmas completely about the gifts, or there is the culture that pushes the gifts aspects of Christmas and does not push the real meaning behind Christmas, and that is a celebration of Jesus Christ. And
Well,
so
I want to touch on one thing before you continue on that.
Mhm.
You brought up the fact that we live in a capitalist society, right? Which is, like you said, nothing wrong with it. Capitalism at its core,
love it.
is nothing wrong with it, right? But it's like we live in a bastardized form of capitalism right now.
Yeah.
So even like when capitalism first came about, like employers cared about their employees, right? But now it's all about the bottom line. So it like, and it's throughout the year. They've what you call what's the word I'm looking for? They capitalize on the fact that President's Day, you have a President's Day sale.
Oh yeah, of course. Black Friday, all that.
Black Friday. We have Valentine's Day.
All these major holidays or all these major events that you have, they have some July 4th Day, the July 4th sale. You got a Veterans Day sale. You got so people, but that's the thing about capitalism. Capitalism is I have a product. I'm trying to sell this product to you, and in capitalism now you have this concept of marketing. You have a certain projection that people put out about a certain product. You have the concept of supply and demand. Like PlayStation is not dumb. PlayStation didn't put out a lot of PS5s during this time because of the concept of supply and demand. Like they want to make the PS5 so hot that they give you a limited amount of the PS5s, right? And they limit their amount. And then so in limiting their amount, what they do is that more people who there's less product for more people, and that's to bolster up their stuff.
It is, and it works. We've seen it. It's a formula that has been repeated over and over again.
Yeah.
Not just by Sony, but
everybody,
right?
Jordan does it with sneakers, and me. I love my sneakers. Absolutely love my sneakers. But in order to make a pair of sneakers hot,
yes, you need to
promote them. You promote them, and if 1 million people are going to buy your sneakers, you're only releasing 100,000, thus driving the price of the sneakers up, thus driving the demand for the sneakers up.
True. So okay, so now who's going to take our responsibility in this marketing process, all right, when it comes to how it affects our youth?
I've realized that that's the parents' job. It's the parents, it's the teacher's job. It's not the business's job. It's not, because like you said, Sony, Apple, Jordan, Nike, Adidas, they don't care about the moralistic aspect of certain things. For them, the only thing that they see is their bottom line. They need to come in on the black, and in coming on the black, I need to make a profit. However my profit gets pushed, I don't care. Just give me the profit. So it all falls down on us as parents to really drive in the fact of what Christmas is, drive in the fact of the meaning of Christmas, drive in not even the fact, the truth, drive in the truth of Christmas, drive in the meaning of Christmas, drive in the reason what Christmas is. And then after we do that, then you begin to incorporate certain aspects of certain.
But as a parent, it's getting harder. It's getting a lot more difficult for you to drive these values home. Right, okay. Aaron, all right. Dude, he did well.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Samantha and I wanted to reward him. Dude, Aaron straight up just said, I want a Nintendo Switch.
Yes. I remember you talking about that.
You know, dude, you have
Kids are gonna, yeah, they're gonna want these things. They're gonna want them. Like there are things like my daughter asked me, Madison asked me for um some and I only have one, so I'm more inclined to be able to give her some stuff. She asked for something, some LOL amalgamation set that had 193 pieces or whatever. It cost $100.
have
$100.
you seen these things?
Yeah, and I'm like, these people are making money off of nothing. But the thing is like, so it's twofold. One, you just can't take around the Christmas holiday to instill these moralistic values to them, because it's going to be harder. You're not going to get it. These are things that you have to instill in them all year round. It must be a constant thing. They must see you live it yourself and all this stuff. So that's one. Two, around Christmas time, what I do is I have my daughter give me a list, and I say, give me, and I cap her on everything.
Okay.
Give me a list of 3 to 5 things that you want. So I give her the choice of, wow, I could do 3 or 5. You know what I'm saying? Really, it's 5 things. Give me the choice of 3 to 5 things that you want. Put them in order of how much you want them. And out of those lists, I'm going to see if I can get you 3. So she already kind of has an idea. All right, well, if I give Daddy these 5 things, out of these 5 things, he might be able to get me 3. So let me show him, kind of like the 3 that I really want, what's really in my head or whatever and everything. And then depending on how her year went, I'll get a 3. I never get her more than 3. I won't get her more than 3 because, I put the cap on there. And what I also want to teach her how to do is to be able to deal with not getting everything that you want, because in life, you don't get everything that you want, and that's a lesson that our kids don't learn. And I find as parents nowadays, we give them everything we didn't have, and it's spoiling them slightly. It's they're thinking, oh, I get what I want. I get everything I want. But I remember like not getting certain things and knowing how to deal with it builds character.
It does build character. Managing your disappointments.
Yes.
It does build character.
Yes.
But even as an adult, right? Yeah, I'm talking for myself. There are times I can think back. I told my dad, like, I really wanted this. I didn't get it. And I flash back to the disappointment that I felt. It's not hurt.
It's disappointment, but you dealt with it though,
But I dealt with it, but it's like,
yeah.
But as a parent, you want to protect your child.
And so this goes far beyond even the concept of capitalism and teaching, and like seeing all this stuff about people capitalizing on us during this time. This goes to parenting skills. This goes to like parenting and what you like as a parent. And I realized I was like, I'm going to protect Madison from all danger. I'm going to protect it from disappointments. But when I started to do that, what I realized was Madison was not able to handle disappointments or losses at all. And I got big out. So, and here's how I taught Madison how to deal with losses and disappointments. We played video. Like I love wrestling. She loves wrestling as well too because of me. She watches it. So she became to play the wrestling game. So she WWE 2K20 whatever. So what ended up happening was she would put on 2-player and she would play against the computer, and she would play against nothing and beat and say, I'm the best player in the world. And I go, okay, we're gonna play the computer. And she's like, no, I don't want to play the computer. I was like, no, we're gonna play the computer. And you're not allowed to play 2-player. You play the computer. So I took one controller away and I had her play against the computer, and the computer would beat her down. And she would fail and fail and fail. And she would have meltdowns like, ah, ah. Now people would look at me and be like, how can you put your daughter through this? No, what I began to teach her as she's doing this, I'm talking her through.
Yes.
Number one, I'm talking her through what she should do to win. Don't forget when you were playing against the computer, remember this move to this much power, this move to that much power. Use those big moves and then or use the smaller moves first and then come to the big moves. So she began to learn strategy, right? So as she began to learn strategy, now she's putting the strategy in, and when the strategy doesn't work, she has this meltdown or whatever. Well, I can't believe it. And I was like, no, calm down, baby. You remember, you're not always going to win. You got to try harder. And so I'm talking her through, and as I'm talking her through this, she's beginning to manage the fact that okay, I might not win now, I could do it again. And so it begins to build, it builds perseverance in her. It built character in her to the point where when she started playing the computer now to do like the tournaments that were in there and all that stuff, whatever, to win like storylines to get different people. And she's going through, and there's like one story that she couldn't beat. And so she's going and she's frustrated, and I could see her putting the controller down, going through what I told her. Calm, boom. So she plays, she doesn't lose the night. She doesn't win. She loses the night, right? And then the next day we wake up, we're talking, we go through our regimen, routine or whatever and everything. She's like, can I play? I said, yes, I could play. And she goes, you know what, Dad? Even if I don't win, I'm going to try my hardest. And as long as I try my hardest, I'm good. And I'm like, try your hardest, baby, and you'll get it.
Yeah.
She ended up winning. And so it's like, in trying to protect her from disappointments, I stunted her growth as a human being.
Yes.
And it's,
as parents, we can't manage every disappointment for them, right?
You can't.
And I had the same issue with Aaron and video games.
Yeah.
Aaron would play against the computer, and he can get pretty high up there, right? But he's doing the same move over and over again. So he played against his sister. Now his sister is not on easy mode.
Yeah.
You can figure out, hey, okay, you're doing the same move over. I'm just gonna jump over you, and then I'm just gonna start hitting you.
Exactly.
And he when that happened, he got frustrated. It's not fair. Like yelling. I speak to him. I was like, okay, Aaron, first of all, this is a game. Okay, the concept of playing a game, someone has to lose.
Yeah.
You can't have two winners.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean that you're gonna lose every time. It doesn't mean you're going to win every time. Okay, so you play your best. You try your strategy, you try whatever you want to, but your purpose is to win. Doesn't mean that you will. All right. All right. So, be honest with you, bro, that didn't work. I had to speak to him like 5 times.
Yeah, it's a process. It's a process. What you know what's funny? Around that time, when you think about wins and losses for a child, wins and losses, which is why you have this whole culture about like, hey, everybody's a winner, whatever. Because when a child has wins and losses, what they do is you automatically take it in. It's a reflection on your character and who you are, right? So if you're a winner, you're great. You're good at what you're great. You're good at what you do. You're this, you're that, you're that. You're so wonderful. If you're a loser, you're lower than this, you're this, you're that. So it begins to become a constant. And what I had to do and teach to Madison was winning and losing is not a reflection of who you are. Winning and losing is a testament, is a test about the skill in which you acquired it.
Yes.
Right? So now here's what winning and losing says. If you win in something, that means you're very skillful in that thing. Continue to work on that skill. However, if you lose in something, that means you're not as skillful in that thing that you need to be. And continue to work on that skill.
You need work. Either way, you still need to keep
working.
Either
way, you need to work. So it's a concept of being able to detach the concept of winning and losing is associated to who I am. It's my character. It's not your character. It's a test of your skill.
In a way, we're still managing the disappointments, but in a different way, right?
Yeah, we're teaching them how to do that. But now to bring it back full circle, right? When we look at the consumerism, if that's a word, of this year, of around this specific time
Oh,
of the
yes,
year,
yes, yes.
right? What happens now is if I don't get, and this is also what you got, if I don't get this certain gift, I'm not this type of person. If I don't have these things, I'm not this. If my family doesn't have a bunch of gifts for Christmas, we don't have a great Christmas. We don't have a great time. So once again, you now take this concept of things that are going to reflect your character or going to reflect, your family or your family status, and you got to separate those things
You
from
have
you.
to separate it, because I 100% agree. Once you adopt that mentality, it's going to infect every single thing.
And not consumers, producers understand that.
Oh,
And
yeah.
they take advantage of it. So these companies understand that people look at this iPhone and people think, if I don't have this iPhone, I'm not a cool person, or I'm not a great person, or I'm not rich. So they pump and push and manipulate, which is called marketing. That's all marketing is. Marketing is a manipulation of you. It's a promotion of a product, and the way they promote the product is a manipulation of your emotions towards the product.
That's all marketing is. It's manipulating people's emotions.
That's it. And so you got to separate the concept of this thing is me and say, this is a piece of glass, plastic, and circuitry that connect.
Bottom line is, it starts at home.
Completely.
Right?
100%.
So 100%, it starts at home, starts with the parents setting, not goals, like set an example.
Yes.
But even when they set that example, right, they're still walking with you, guiding you.
Yeah.
Right. But then here's the flip side of it. As a parent, you're doing that. You have multiple kids. You have 1, 2, 3, 4 kids, 5 kids, right? And they're in school. And they're interacting with their friends.
Yeah.
And their friends are telling them, oh, I have this, I have that. And they're coming home looking at you like, why don't we have it?
Yeah.
So it's a.
But then again, it's also teaching your children this. I don't have this, that. Okay, what do you have? And as parents, we got to be wise, because sometimes our kids will come to us and they'll make you think that you're not doing a good job as a parent because you don't have certain materialistic things, right? And bro, you got to be a parent to be wise enough to be like, yo, okay, you don't got a Nintendo Switch, but what else do you got?
Bro, real quick, I fell into that.
Yeah.
Right. Recently I fell into it. I felt so bad. Right. And then because I'm hearing Alyssa's coming home and she's talking about her friends having a Nintendo Switch and they're playing this game, playing that game. She can't take part of it. She can't be part of the conversation because she doesn't have one. And I'm like, oh my God, I feel so bad. I feel bad. Well, so I'm talking with Samantha. Samantha's like, they have a Nintendo Wii. They have a PlayStation 4. They have an Xbox 360. They have an iPad. They have a laptop. Like, do they really need a Nintendo Switch? And then one day, Alyssa came home, and she told me, like, I was walking home with her, and she was telling me that one of her friends told her that she's lucky. So I'm like, what do you mean? She's like, you have both your parents at home. She's like, you are home, your dad's there, your mom's there, your brother, like everybody's there in the same house. And she's like, she was jealous of her, but she didn't have it.
You never know what somebody looks at, especially children. You never know what somebody look at your stuff. And it's like this old saying. It's not even old saying. It's like this thing where I saw this meme where a guy had a car and the guy was like, I wish I had a different car.
Oh, yeah.
And then the guy who was on the bus station was looking at his car like, I wish I had a car. And the guy on the bus station, the guy that was in the bus that was looking at the car, there was somebody that was looking at him like, I wish I could get on the bus. You know what I'm saying? And there's a kid looking at the guy that wanted to get on the bus and saying, man, I wish I could walk, because he was in a wheelchair. You know what I'm saying? So we never know what people are looking at. And that's the point of, that's why you have to teach your children about what they have and not what they don't have. It's all about perspective. If you look at things for what you don't have, you're going to be completely depressed and you're going to miss all the stuff that you have.
True, I agree. So now that I'm talking about school, when you're especially like when you are like physically in the classroom, right? And Christmas time came around. Like, how did you manage that with your students?
I told my kids that for me as a teacher, I love Christmas time because
bro, you love everything.
Yeah, I do. Because you got to learn. Here's the thing, bro. I wanted to be marketing executive, and I probably would have been a good one. I probably would have been a good marketing rep or whatever. You got to take everything for what it is and spin it towards for you. I would have my students who weren't doing well or whatever like that, and they would talk about the Christmas gifts that they were getting and blah, 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 blah. That's when around November, end of October, November, I'm so vocal and I'm so interactive with parents, especially for my kids that aren't doing well, because I have a saying in my classroom, Mr. Altidor messes up Christmas. Mr. Altidor messes up Christmas. Like, that's what I do. So if you're not doing your work, if you're not doing, you don't, so I would call parents and be like, he's not doing this. Like, not even, but here's the thing. It's not kids who are trying and not doing well. You know, there's a difference between kids who are trying and not doing well and kids who are just like, I don't care. And I'm into it. So the kids who are like, I don't care, I'm gonna mess up your Christmas. And then guess what? Some people will be like, well, what happens if the parents now decide that they're still gonna give the kid the stuff? Then that's why I pull on the parents and be like, you know what? Well, he said you're gonna get it for him anyway, or she said you're gonna get it for him anyway. She's like, my mom will do whatever. And that's how these kids are.
That's true.
You know,
that is true.
No matter what. So I've had parents who now what I do now is I challenge you as a parent and say, yo, your kid say you're gonna do it anyway, even if you don't deserve it. What you gonna do as a parent now? Right? So I've had times where parents have taken away gifts and not given the kids things and taking them back. Like, bro, I've literally had parents call me, say, I'm Mr. Altidor, I'm in the store right now, I bought him this, I'm bringing it back. Boom. And then I've had parents who've told their children, because you hear, I've had parents who told their kids, I'm still going to give you the thing, don't tell Mr. Altidor.
Okay. I mean,
you know what I'm saying? So I have it both ways. But for me, Christmas time, oh, baby, that's around the time I used to be like, you're misbehaving, I'm going to talk to your mother about you. You know what I'm saying? Maybe she won't get you that thing that you want. You know, as a teacher, I ask them, hey, what do you want for Christmas? What are some of your Christmas gifts or whatever like that? And so when a child acts up or he's not putting his effort in, I'm like, hey, man, like, you said you wanted a Nintendo Switch. You're not working for it right now. If I'm your parent, I wouldn't get you a Nintendo Switch, and I'm gonna have to have a conversation with about him and tell him that you ain't working for it either. No, Mr. Altidor, don't do that. Don't do that. Y'all want the new Jordans that are coming out. No, you don't. You're not working for Jordans. You're not working for it. You're not. Your behavior's horrible. You're not in miscellaneous class. You're not. Oh, Mr. Altidor, come on, man, stop playing. Stop playing.
So Steve. So you telling me?
Yes.
That November comes around, you holding gifts hostage? This is what you're telling me, Steve?
And 10%.
So here's my thing. You holding gifts hostage.
I'm not holding gifts hostage because I don't have the money to buy the gifts. All I'm simply doing is this. I'm simply conveying to your parent the amount of effort, lack thereof, or the amount of effort that you're giving. That's a lot. So let me tell you this. I've had parents who said that they weren't getting their students any gifts because they weren't producing what they wanted to produce. But I'm talking to the parents like, yo, he's doing this in class. He's doing this in class. He's doing this in class. She's doing this in class. She's doing this in class. She's doing this in class. Like, the effort is there. It's going to catch up. And if you can reward them on the effort, I believe that by the end of the year, they'll be all right. I've had kids who weren't going to get things and looked at me and came to school on break, and gave me a hug and said, "Thank you, Mr. Altidor. I got the PS3 because of you. I got the PS4. I got the Jordans because of you. My mom said that you told me that I could do so well, so I'm gonna work in your class." Come on, I use it. I use it for the good, and I use it for the even gooder.
Bro, no. We're not doing gooder. No.
Good.
So now, as parents, right?
Mhm.
As parents and as educators, we've come to a consensus that we're still managing disappointments, right?
100%.
All right. So it's that coupled with, do you believe that managing disappointments coupled with a consistent example of morals and good behavior, right, would result in a change in perspective?
Yes, because what happens is two things have to happen. You have to set a bar. The bar has to be set. Wherever that bar is and whatever that bar entails, that's where you have to meet it. If you are underneath that bar, you have to learn how to deal with the consequences of being underneath where you're supposed to be.
So regardless, there's a line in the sand. Regardless.
There's always a line in the sand, no matter what.
I'm with you.
No. But the problem here, and this is the problem that I've always had as an educator, right? I consistently have a line in the sand. And when kids don't meet that line in the sand, I try to get them to at least meeting the mark. Right?
Okay, so we say, okay, this is the bar that you set.
Mm-hmm.
School year started. We were like, okay, man, all right. By the end of the semester, I would like every one of you to at least be at this level.
Mm-hmm.
So you have 10 kids, 3 kids above, right?
Mm-hmm.
5 at, 2 below. Now you work with those 2. They don't get up to here, but they get here.
Yeah.
They're not quite there yet, right?
Mm-hmm.
But they put in the effort to improve. So would you say they still deserve a reward?
100%.
100%.
100%, because as human beings, listen, in the very same way, I've had kids in my classroom that were intelligent, smart. I'm talking about book smarts that, like, I didn't necessarily even have to teach them anything. They
Mhm.
knew it.
Mm-hmm.
But their behavior and their moral, it was poor. So I had conversations with parents like, yeah, his grades are great, but he's out here telling girls to do this and do this to him. Yeah, her grades are great, but she's disrespectful and she's telling other teachers to F off and do all this other stuff or whatever like that. I've had conversations with parents like, yo, the academic portion is great.
Mm-hmm.
They're meeting and remember, you got different standards in life with different departments of your life.
Yes.
That's how crazy life is, right? So we could be meeting a standard in one part of our lives, but completely low in another part. And because that one part is the one that's championed more, you miss the other part.
I get that. I get that.
Like you got the skill, but you don't got the character to maintain your position because of the skill. So you'll get someplace, but you'll never stay there. And so in my classroom, I try to get the whole student. I give a whole scope of the student, not just this educational academic portion of him or her, but
since we're here, I can't remember who the author is. Have you ever heard this book called The Whole Brain Child or something like that? Basically, it's along the same lines of what you were saying.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you know, it's not just academics. It's not just social. You know, it's you need. So you have home, social, and academics, and they all need to work.
They have to.
In order for the child to be successful.
They have to, because bro, there are kids who I've had, and you see so much as a teacher. There are kids who I have that are angels in my classroom. I mean, no disrespect, no nothing at all. And I would tell the parent, yo, your son is one of the greatest kids I've ever had in my classroom. He's one of the greatest joys in my class. Your daughter is one of the greatest joys in my classroom. Like, I wake up and I'm like, I am so happy that I get to see such and such today. I wish I had 10 more students like them. And the parent would look at me and be like, this child? And the parent would go, he's a terror at home. She disrespects me at home. And I'm like, whoa.
Wow.
Something's missing at home that they're getting. Here's the first thing. Something's missing at home that they're getting in the classroom. That's one. That's two, when you find out what's missing, now you have to make that transition home. You got to bridge that gap, because, and I told kids, you can't be fine for me, that's a teacher, that's borderline a stranger. You only know me for this year. Borderline a stranger, but the woman or the man that gave birth to you, you're disrespecting. You can't do that.
Yeah, I get that. You have
it's the wholeness. Yeah, bro, it's whole. You got to be whole. We can't segment certain things.
But but we do.
We definitely do. But we're in the problem that we have.
Listen, man. Quite honestly, I brought you on here, all right, because I just wanted to vent. Now my kid asked me for a Nintendo Switch, all right. I just wanted to vent, all right. I'll be honest.
Listen, bro. When everything boils down to it, I look at it this way, and I'll close with this, right? If we can consistently teach our children the moral aspect of life, treating people well,
yes,
not being consumed by materialistic things, brand names and items don't make you the person. Winning and losing doesn't have a definitive aspect on your character, but legitimately it's how you treat people, how you love people, and how you treat and love and your relationship with God. If you can encompass those three things throughout your life with your children every single day, when things like Christmas come around and they're bombarded with what we're bombarded with, right?
Yeah.
They're able to
have a foundation. They have a foundation that will
have a foundation where
help them navigate whatever comes their way.
Exactly. And even if I don't get what I want, it doesn't mean that mommy and daddy don't love me. It just means at this time I can't get it.
All right, so I'm gonna take a snippet of that last part you said. All right, I'm gonna play it for the kids.
Go ahead.
I definitely, it's something that I think that every child needs to hear.
100%.
Understand.
If mommy and daddy don't get it for you, it don't mean that they don't love you. And I'm telling you this, I do this on purpose. I don't get my daughter things on purpose, not because I can't get them, but because I show her that having all these things don't mean anything. And I used to feel, and I'll end off with this. I used to feel really bad because me and her mother are divorced, and you go through the time of whatever, and just trying to fill her. I was filling her. I was buying her toys, buying her this, buying her that, buying her whatever she needed. I would get boom, 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 and then I stopped and I said, none of those things mean I love her.
They don't.
None, and I had to stop myself and go, Steve, none of those things legitimately mean that you love your child. You love your child, spend time with her, be there with her or whatever. And I was doing all those things, but I was oversaturating that aspect of it. And the moment and bro, when I pulled back, it wasn't even like she was like, oh, where's the toys and everything? She's like, she was good. Yeah. She was good.
Listen, man, Samantha and I do the same thing with the kids.
Yep.
The exact same thing. Is that okay?
Yep. You learn, you build stuff with each other.
Free to ask us for anything.
Ask away.
You are free to ask.
Ask away.
I have made the disclaimer from the inception. Not because you asked me for something means you're going to get it.
Oh, 100%.
Okay. So I'm glad that you let me know what you like.
What you want.
But, you know,
You need it.
it's exactly. I know you want it. You don't need it. You know, and
Because everything you need, you got already.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. They have us, they have a roof over their head. There's, you know, there's food in the refrigerator. They're getting an education. The things that they need, they have the love, the
Yep.
support.
Let me tell you, one of the greatest things that parents can do for children is, and this is like so thing, right? One of the greatest things that parents could do for children is show children a loving home.
Yes.
And most children, statistics show, and this is not anything being chauvinistic or anything like that or whatever, statistics show that kids who come from two-parent homes do better in life than kids who come from single-parent homes. Now,
More
it doesn't
so than not. Yes, more so than not.
More so that it doesn't mean that single-parent homes are completely flawed and your kids are going, you're not going to do well or whatever like that. But it just shows that when parents stay together and have a loving relationship together, you produce kids that are just that are loving as well, and that will produce in society and do the same thing.
I agree. Just to play devil's advocate here, though, also, you know, if you have parents and they are not able to provide that loving environment, sometimes being apart, they're able to do it.
100%.
Still, and that child will still be okay.
100%. Like my daughter's gonna be fine. I'm not with her mother at all, but she has a loving relationship with the both of us. She gets love from the both of us, and she'll be fine. Now, to say that she's more at a disadvantage than, and I'm talking about my own child, she's at a more disadvantage than somebody else's child who comes from a two-parent home. No, because I've filled up the part that I'm supposed to fill up. However, when you have a home that has two parents in there, just what by statistics, by what they say, it's your child, goes off to be better. But really, it's what you say. You got to fill in those gaps with love. You fill the gap in with love, and
regardless,
Yep.
one parent home, two parent home.
Yep.
Right. You fill those moments with love, and
that's it. And that's it. And not with stuff. And honestly, that was one of the things that scared. When I saw that statistic, that was one thing that scared me about my daughter. Like, oh my gosh, what's gonna happen to my child? You know what I'm saying, or whatever. And I remember speaking to my mentor, and he was just like, yo, bro, you're gonna be good. You got the Lord by your side, number one. Number two, you love your child, and your ex-wife loves your child, so she'll be fine. And what I realized is that those children who come from those homes, right, because the single parent kind of like is dealing with certain things, you know what I'm saying? Like, it comes on the child. So they're dealing with, issues with the other spouse or whatever like that. It comes on the child as well because of the thing. But then again, too, when you have two parents who are married and they're dealing with the same issues that
still falls on the child.
It still falls on the child.
Yes.
So really, when it all boils down to, when you look at the numbers, you're like, oh, snap, single parent homes, double parent, no. What's the objective here? The bottom line here is that the parents love the children. And when you love your child and you raise them up consistently in a way, like the Bible says, that you train them up in the way of God, and they will not depart. And that's like a lesson in life.
I think that's part what's missing now. We're not training up our children.
No, you're letting MTV and YouTube and society, and then there's a certain laziness.
Yeah.
That is there because technology has made us a little lazy. So instead of taking the time to, talk, and I've been guilty of this, instead of taking the time to sit and talk and whatever, it's like, oh, go on YouTube. I'm going to go on my phone.
Dude, listen, I'm guilty of it too. The kids have iPads, have laptops. There'd be times, I remember one time I'm sitting there, I'm watching TV. Aaron is sitting right next to me and he's on his iPad. And I'm like, what are we doing?
Yes, I have moments like that. Like, we need to be doing something together, not sitting in the same room together and doing something separate.
So yeah,
I get you, brother.
Yeah. But
I mean,
so the bottom line is, to battle commercialism, we need to fill those gaps with love.
that's it.
That's it.
That's it.
All right. That's going to be our slogan.
To battle commercialism, fill those gaps with love.
Listen, 2021 slogan. There we go.
To battle commercialism, fill those gaps with love.
All right, man. It was great having you on, bro.
Great too, brother. I appreciate you, man.